I'd like to take this time to welcome everyone to the March meeting of the Walton County Planning Commission. We still got folks coming in, but we need to go ahead and get our meeting started for this afternoon or this evening. I'd like to thank all of you for being present here tonight. Want to let everyone know also that you can join our meetings at Walton County Facebook Live anytime that you wish to view any of our meetings. You'll be able to there. At this time, I'm going to ask Tim Kemp if he will say the prayer when he finishes. If you would all join us for the pledge, we'd greatly appreciate that.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening in thanksgiving and praise. We thank you for everything that you have done, everything you're about to do within this county and out this land. Heavenly Father, as we go about your business, Lord, lead us and guide us in the right direction to make the decision for the betterment of this county in which we live in this great country of the United States and the state of Georgia. Heavenly Father, again, we thank you. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate that. I'd like to officially call this meeting to order. I'd like to show in our roll call that all of our members are here with the exception of Pete Myers and Josh, who are unfortunately not able. Josh is not able to be here. He got with me earlier in the week, but Pete has served on this planning commission diligently, and I've served alongside of him for the last several years, and he has done a phenomenal job. He's in transition, so as a vacancy is open in that district, commission district, so he's in transition there. But we want to wish him, as a board, all the luck in the world with whatever, because we certainly do appreciate his service. And I feel like sometimes because of some, believe it or not, people make comments. Can y'all believe that? But I don't want to say we're volunteers, but we're volunteers. We're asked by the commissioner that for our district if we would be willing to serve on this planning commission, and that's a yes or no decision for each one of us to make in time, effort. So I appreciate everyone who serves here alongside myself and the time that they give each and every month to do so. It's fulfilling. We're in an area that's growing. It's been growing for years. And as I like to say, until they close labor and delivery and the borders, it's going to keep on growing. Can't stop that. I think I saw somewhere, just randomly saw, and don't even know why I saw it. Maybe it was because of the problem we had, y'all remember, a few years ago when we all got put into isolation. But so the year 2021, Georgia had 174,000 births that year. That blew me away. So just a random thought. We're growing. We're growing. I mean, we're growing. Where we want to grow or not, we're growing. So, but anyway, thank all of you for being here. And again, I want to say thanks to Pete for the time that he has given. At this time, board members, I hope that you've had an opportunity to look over our minutes from our February 1st meeting, and if so, if there's no errors or omissions that need to be addressed, I'll take a motion for approval of those minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second it.
All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. Thank you. We have no old business on our agenda for the evening, so we're going to go into new business. And again, don't want to take anything for granted that you guys have watched us or that you have been here. We do have a format and protocols that we follow for our meetings. And so we're going to ask on each case we have for the applicant to come up and speak, present their case. And at that time, after they have completed that, we will ask for anyone who may be here in opposition to come up and speak. I would like to encourage you, because we have a 10-minute limit on that, if you have someone who you guys have talked as a group, if you got someone who can come up, we would appreciate that. So secondly, once someone tells us, example, traffic, we don't, I mean, there's no need in us hearing that again from the second person. We would like to hear as much constructive or observations that you have regarding the request that's being done. So if you guys could help us out with that, we would greatly appreciate it. So at this time, I'm going to move forward for our evening agenda for new business. The first application is LU 2400014 and Z 2401001. This is a land use change from conservation to highway corridor to rezone 9.11 acres from A1 to M1 for a climate-controlled self-storage office warehouse. The applicant is David Caruth, and the owner is Bentley Bold LLC. Property is located at Highway 81 and 4742 Bentley Road. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
If you would please come and present your case, please, sir. Right here at the podium. And if you don't mind, when you come up, state your name for us very clearly.
What we intend to do, you can share this with anyone else that wants.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Rosendahl. I'm the owner of Rosewood Development Company, and I am a native of Walton County. Been building homes and developing commercial for 20-something years. I have teamed up with David, he is the landowner, to do a kind of a multi-use, a little bit of storage and office warehouse buildings. We decided to do this because demand in Walton County seems to be huge. I've got people that I've built buildings for in the past that are outgrown their buildings and they want to expand into bigger buildings, and we just can't find anything. The biggest complaint I get from people is that there's really nothing available. So I met with David, and we looked at his property. It's on a state highway. We thought it would be a good opportunity to look at doing some storage and some buildings, so that's what we're trying to do. David.
Yep. My name's David Caruth. I've been farming out in Walton County for the last 40 years, and this opportunity has come with Chris, and it looked like a good opportunity for me because down the road, 10 years down the road, I'll be 70 years old, and I'm looking for something for some residual income, and I have nobody to pass my business down to in the family. So, but I don't want to sell the property because I want to be in control of what goes on the property and make sure it's aesthetically pleasing to the community, and have some control of what's in there. And so I've partnered with Chris to do this venture with.
Any questions?
Thank you, guys. Is there any questions from the board members? I do have a couple of questions. So I looked at the rendering that was sent to us as part of our packet, and I'm also looking at this. I'm very familiar with this site as I pass there 2 or 3 times at least a week. Live just a very short distance from there. It appears to me that you guys have at least initially you have your entry on Bentley Road. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And also, Mr. Caruth, I'm very familiar with your farm there too, as I come through. It's a tree farm, I call it.
Yes, sir.
You might call it a nursery. Tree
Call
nursery,
it a tree farm.
tree farm.
We farm trees.
At least I was right on that. So, I think that was one of the things that was a major question for me. I was just unable to tell from, I'm looking at the other drawing you got now, and obviously with the overlay of that, showing that adjacent property as you head towards the intersection of Bowl Springs Road on 81. I'm very familiar with it, so I can tell that now the layout and where your entry is, we didn't have quite the same drawings within our packet that you've provided for us tonight, so I certainly appreciate that. Any other questions from any board members? Thank you, guys. Oppositions, anyone here in opposition to this request? Who said we all are?
I said we all.
No, there's a lady up here got a Georgia Bulldog shirt on. She ain't raised her hand. She ain't, so don't say all. All right. Thank you for wearing that shirt, ma'am. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. Again, be mindful of our 10 minutes. There's people going to want to come up behind you, so if you could be brief in your comments. We do want to hear what you've got to say, but if you could be brief in your comments, just as a courtesy for those others who would like to speak. Sir in the green shirt, would you come up first, and then I'll move to this side over here. Yes, you have to come to the podium and state your name for us, please. And also, if you don't mind telling us where you live, give us your address.
All right, yes, my name is Milton Wingfield. I live on Raleigh Way, which backs up to Mr. Caruth's property there. I actually can see your house from my back porch, so, but then I saw this sign, which I passed that direction several times. I noticed just one comment on the traffic. We had a wreck a week from today, I believe it was, at the entrance to our subdivision. I believe that was a fatality. And it's a busy road. 81's a busy road, no doubt. I like it. I moved here because of the beauty of that particular area. I enjoy it immensely. I'm retired and spend a lot of time on my land just making improvements. But I officially just want to say that I'm not in favor of this particular type of improvement to the land as such. Feel it's nothing that I can think of that positively contributes to this particular area. We've got the big farm that's across the street from your property, Mr. Caruth, and beautiful piece of property. Again, I like it the way it is. I know that change is one of those things that is constant in life, and we have to deal with it one way or the other. It is something that we all see. But I just don't see the need for this type of business. I know there are warehouses as you go towards Loganville. There's warehouses on the other side of 316 as you go towards Winder. So I know there are some of those type of warehouses in the area. I haven't heard how many units this will be. Is that on there?
Sir, I'll make we'll come back on. I will make a note right here and ask the applicant to do so as well and address that in his rebuttal, please.
Okay, all right, that's fine. But I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and I appreciate your sharing my input on this one. And
Yes, sir.
I'll sit down and let someone else speak.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to get the lady right behind you first, and then, sir, I'll allow you to come up. Ma'am, when you get to the mic, if you would please state your name and tell us your address, please.
I'm not going to do a girl this. First of all, thank you for allowing me to come up. Those of y'all that do not know me and I've not met yet, my name is Tammy Bentley, B-E-N-T-L-E-Y. Our home is located at 4842 Bentley Road. The property in question is rezoned, is 4742. That affects me greatly. It's right next door to my home. We built our home in 1995, and as of 3 years ago, we paid our home off early, working very hard. I just turned 56. We love our area that we're at. My husband is third generation Bentley. It belonged to his grandfather, then his father. Then we were able to get some of the property when his father was selling it to Mr. Herman and to David. We own our land there, our home. We've raised our daughters. Now we've got grandchildren there. Right now, when we look out our front door across the yard, we see is a beautiful picture. It's trees, it's rolling hills. From my driveway, and anybody that drives down Bentley Road knows right where I live, I'm the blacktop driveway. Over that, I see the beautiful trees, see across 81 into the cow pasture, into Mr. Sims' yard. Beautiful. I hear the cows hollering and mooing. With this, I know we're a growing community. I know that there's lots of change coming. But 9.11 acres of storage, and I know they've talked about traffic. I've got all of the accidents from the roads and bridges of the number of accidents. Like he said, we just had one last week. I heard it from my house. We've had 5 and 23, 9, 10, 7, 3, 11, 1. If you travel down Bentley Road, my father-in-law worked for the county. He got our road paved. It is a very narrow road. There's dips all along the side. We have accidents constantly. Mr. Critters' fence has been took out, neighbors. There's no markings on the side of that road. There's no lines in the middle of that road. That is an issue if they're going to bring that storage road into that. That road cannot handle that traffic. We're the cut through flying. With the thing of the storage units, there is, excuse me while I look through all of my notes, I've been getting notes that this happened, approximately 2 miles from where this storage is on Tano Bridge and 81, there's storage units going up. Approximately 7.7 miles at 4886 Highway 81 Loganville, there's storage buildings already there. 7 miles approximately into Monroe, into the city limits behind Bojangles, there's storage units. On Mayfield Drive, another 7.5 miles, there's more storage units, more being built. I understand, I do, we've got to grow. We're a community that's ever growing. I know us older people want it to stay, but I think of other things that could be done with that property. I'm not trying to bash him or anything, but it hurt me really, really bad when I received that letter, because the community that I went out, I am the lady that started walking door by door out in my community, getting petitions signed. I have petitions right here when I was going door to door, getting people to sign to stop this. I spoke with a commissioner over the phone that said they would not accept my petition because they couldn't verify it. So I've asked people to come and support us tonight into doing this, but let me just read the end of this. Night of darkness will become bright lights from a 9.11 acre storage building, which was once a beautiful piece of heaven, will now be metal buildings. Our road is a small country road. Traffic and speed is already an issue. This will only cause more and not to add to the activity in our area we've had in the past. My question is, we have storage buildings all over within a few mile radius. Why more? Why destroy a beautiful area with a third? Once it goes commercial, our area is gone. It's just going to continue. We are an area of landowners that take great pride in our home if you come through that area. Please do not destroy what I've worked for, and ask yourself, would you want to live beside 9.11 acres of a storage building? And let me just read this. I pulled up last night, if I may, and I apologize for this. As I said, we're a third generation. On our other road, there's some other families that are more than 3 families. We have my mother-in-law and also some cousins on the road. My new neighbors have also even asked, before they even built on our road, was the tree form ever going to change? And their answer was told no. So we have no desire to sell. We're going to stay there through the whole thing. But many generations live out in our little piece of heaven. And we are if you come into Walton County, the first sign you see when you walk into Walton County, it says, we are a soil and water conservation county, 1 mile down the road from where the storage building will go. Understand the need for growth, but not storage buildings. I Googled y'all's Walton County Planning Development. The Planning Development Department aims to guide and regulate the order growth development, redevelopment, and preservation of Walton County. Thank you.
Ma'am, I got one question for you real quick.
Yes, sir.
So you said that you live next door to this property,
Yes,
and
sir.
if I'm not mistaken, on 81 to the left is a commercial zoning that we approved a couple years back, and then as you come down Bentley, there's a residual of the tree farm.
I'm right beside of that.
So, but your property doesn't actually join the 9.11,
No, there's going to be a gap.
so there's still part of the tree farm. Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something there.
Ms. Bentley, can I ask you a question?
I'm sorry.
You said you can think of other things that you think can be built there. What other things do you think about?
Well, let me tell you, I'm old-fashioned. When I got something that's going on and my neighbor is here, pardon me. I understand we are built out. I do not want 300 houses built next to us. I know that's what's going to happen. I love how on Bow Springs Road, how they sold it in tracts of 5 and 7 acres, and it's a nice community, nice houses. That is what we want. We want our area to be preserved. We want it, young family, you would not believe how many times we finally created our thing, that real estate will come up where somebody's wanting to buy my piece of property. Somebody's wanting my house. I have people that come constantly wanting to buy my trees, and I said, well, it's Bentley Farm, but they're not my trees. You can look up, I cannot sell them to you. He sells them wholesale. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful, and if you've not been out there, like sir, I know you say you ride through there, come out there. I welcome you to come out there and look at my driveway and look across. It is a beautiful property. Everybody out there have beautiful, beautiful, everybody takes pride in this area. I hate for Bold Springs to become Bethlehem, and it's knocking right at our door. And I know once one thing is changed over from residential or from conservation, once one thing gets built, then there's something else that's going to be built.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Did you say you had a petition?
Yes, sir, I had started doing a petition. I was
She said it couldn't be
door
verified.
by door to
was not
get
accepted.
people that
It was not
would get the
accepted.
petition or against this. And I called on the phone and talked to one of the commissioners, and they said that they would not accept the petition, that I was wasting my time. So I stopped going door to door, and I started relying on Facebook, word of mouth. I've worked to friends, to other friends, to please, nothing against David or his father. I love his father. Mr. Hernandez passed out.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm gonna let you come up, but I'm out of time. I'm gonna allow you to come up because I told you I would. So, sir, if you would step up. Yeah, and as I ask, if you could please go over anything we haven't already heard, we'd greatly appreciate it.
My name's Steve Phillips. I live in the Arden Crest neighborhood. My address is 2204 Arden Crest Way.
Steve, one second. For those of us that are not familiar, where is that located?
It's on the other side of 81.
Going towards
Distance.
Bethlehem? Okay, I got you. Yes, sir, I know where you're at now.
It's maybe a couple hundred yards down the road.
Okay,
This is at least the second time in this general area that someone's talked about a warehouse. It was turned down before. I guess what I want to say very quickly, if you leave my neighborhood and turn left, you're headed toward Bear County, then you cross the river. My question is, if y'all have been that way, is that where we're headed? It doesn't look so good to me. It's just a mess what they're doing down there. Homeowners are being disrespected. I think we all know that when you mix residential property and commercial property and industrial property, the person who's going to lose is the homeowner. And I think we all just have to stand up and say, we don't have to do this. We can choose what we're doing. I'm impressed with what Walton County's doing with the lady mentioned the homes that are being built nearby. That looks like pretty sensible stuff to me. And I hope that we can stay on target with that. Support your homeowners is what we're asking. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So my question is this. Is there anyone here in opposition that can come up to the mic that has something to tell us that we have not already heard? Ma'am, you got something we've not heard, okay? If you'll step up to the mic. Please state your name and tell us your address, please, ma'am.
My name is Katrina Nash. I've lived in Walton County over 20-something years. I live at 3280 Fannie Thompson Road, Monroe, Georgia. My husband and I own 21 acres there.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. So Fannie Thompson Road, that would be 4 miles from this location?
Exactly.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
First of all, I would like to thank you all for saying a prayer. As a Christian, that's an important thing for us to continue.
Thank you very much.
Also, I would like to say that when you build these buildings, we're talking not just about storage utilities. They're saying places for people to have businesses, okay? Now, I don't personally have a unit with things in it, but I have heard of units where people are having a business of auto parts or auto service or something like that. And this is a democratic democracy. So, a representative democratic. I mean, not democratic, sorry. Representative democracy. And there are more people here against it than for it. And if somebody's going to be running businesses out of there, it's not going to be safe. It's going to cause late night hours, and the people that are living there are going to leave, and then they're not going to have a business, and then you're going to have empty buildings and eyesore. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that, too. Sir, do you have something that we haven't heard?
I do.
Okay, if you'd step up and be brief, we'd appreciate it.
I'll be brief. My name is Ronald Woodall. I live at 1137 Ivy Brook Road.
Okay, and give us the proximity of this property. June Ivy Road.
June Ivy Road.
Thank you so much.
Intersection there.
Yes, sir. Know exactly where you're at. Yes, sir.
We have seen the rendering of the development that Mr. Caruth has proposed. I appreciate his desire to have this residual income from his family property. Something you haven't heard is, from that rendering, it looks like it could potentially have merit in a residential area, but my fear is that it wouldn't. It would be a U-Haul monstrosity, where you'd have RVs parked out there, all types of recreational vehicles alongside these storage units. It could be done tastefully, but we don't know that. We don't know what the plan is. I've seen the plan where there's shrubbery planted around it. It's a tree farm. You know, would the colors be neutral? Would they be earth tone colors? That sort of thing. I know that with the development in this area, we're going to see commercial properties develop. But we moved out here 18 years ago because of the beauty of the farmland and the residential beauty that's why we moved here. And being so close to this, I wouldn't want to leave every day seeing a U-Haul facility as the thing as I leave my neighborhood.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And with that, I'm going to close any further opposition. Is there anyone here other than the applicant that would like to speak on behalf of the applicant that's would be on for approval of this. I've got you back there in the back, sir, and I'll get you second. Please state your name and address for us.
Yes, sir. My name is Cole Porter. I live at 4999 Bentley Road, across the street. So I'm the one at the corner of Bentley and 81. I'm not so, this particular use of the property, it's really not what I'm concerned about. We moved there in 2021, and the week after we had a car wreck into our driveway, or into our front yard. We put up our fence the next week. It's not a very good place for our residents. We have people that don't know us calling us saying, hey, we saw you washing your truck, and that's never a fun feeling for my wife and kids. But with the plans for the Georgia DOT to have a roundabout at this location, that's going to eat up my whole front yard and basically be touching my house. And so that leaves me thinking, what do I do with my property when that does happen? And of course, I can be compensated by the DOT and whatnot, but I also think about Mr. Caruth and his private property rights to say, what does he want to do? What does he need to do to provide for himself and his family? And so I'm not saying that this project in particular is necessarily the perfect use for the community, but I do think we have to think about what his desire is and what he needs. Because I don't know what our future will be, whether we have to rent our house when we move or whether we can also sell it for some other use or develop it ourselves. But I can see both sides of the argument, so I'm not down on anybody that disagrees with me, but I just wanted to share that and let you know that I think it's more than just, it's not pretty.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Please come up, state your name, and share your thoughts with us. Give us your address, too, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Excuse me. My name is Bill Duvall. My address is 404 Chickamauga Court, Loganville.
I'm not familiar with that, sir. You're going to tell me where that one's at?
It's off Tom Brewer Road behind the West Walton Park.
All right, know exactly where that's at.
And just for clarification too, my family has owned property at Bentley Road in 81 probably since the 70s. Still own the property there. We've been neighbors with David. David's been a neighbor of mine for 35 years. I've worked out on the tree farm. I've worked in Good Hope and as well at other places. So I know him real well. I just, I understand what he's doing. I understand that it's, it is an impact. I do like the trees. I do like what he's done over the years, and I bought trees off that exact same property from him. But anyway, I just want to let you know that I am in support, and I do. I'm just here for him.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, if I could get the applicant to come back up for any rebuttal they may have.
Will you take a quick question?
No, ma'am, I have closed that for now. Thank you.
How would I go about questions?
On this particular case?
On this particular case?
I'll open up a time at the end of the meeting for public comment, which is really meant for public comment. I'll give you a brief time then if you would like.
That sounds good.
Thank you, ma'am.
I just wanted to recap on what the gentleman that was up here said. I don't know if much of you are aware, but they are putting a roundabout. I think it's coming in 2028 that the DOT has already approved and funded. So that should help with the accidents and a lot of the traffic that everyone's concerned about. But it's just going to make it look just like Harbins Road. If everybody's familiar with Harbins Road and the roundabout, it's coming. And I know nobody likes what's happening in Barrow County, but Highway 81 is a state highway. I mean, it's unfortunately, it's coming. So, in my opinion, this man owns the property. He's lived there his entire life. If he wants to do this, I can assure you all that it'll be attractive. That'll be my job. But he's not going to let me build something that's not going to be pretty because he lives there. So he's going to have to look at it just like the rest of everyone here. And if he's good with it, I'm good with it. And, I can't make everyone else good with it. But in my opinion, it's inevitable what's coming. I think I would rather see the landowner do what he wants with his own land rather than someone buy it and you guys have something else. I mean, I can tell you this, a subdivision is going to generate way more traffic than storage units. People come to our storage units maybe once or twice a week, you might barely see them. And as a home builder, 90% of the homes being built in Walton County are on slabs. So what's the one thing I hear from everybody, and that's why there's so many of them, is we have no storage. And I do build a lot of houses like y'all see on Bowl Springs. I bust up properties, do 2 to 5 acres. But the problem with this one is most people don't want to live on a state highway because they know what's coming. So I go bust this up and make 2-acre lots. People are going to have what's coming right closing in on them. So in my opinion, it's inevitable. But if the gentleman owns the land and wants to do it, I would think that'd be better than somebody else. That's just my opinion.
I have a question on the comment that was made that it will have RV parking or become a U-Haul. Is there any plans for that type? It's not in the proposal.
If that becomes an option or a demand, my goal would be to make it covered, completely covered. Doors.
So that you don't see it.
It's going to be enclosed. If you have an RV, it'll be enclosed.
But that is not in the plan.
No, not as of now. To answer the question about the unit mix, we're really unsure because there are other facilities, so we're going to do what everyone else isn't doing. So if the demands for larger units, we're going to do larger units. If the demands for smaller, we're going to do that, but it will be enclosed, it will be attractive, and it's not going to be something that's going to be an eyesore.
But right now, you're saying that it's not for RVs?
No, sir, it is not.
And all storage is inside storage?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I got one question.
Go ahead, Wesley.
Is there any issue with putting the entrance on 81 if that's necessary rather than Bentley?
I almost feel like that would be a little bit of a headache for the DOT if we were to put it somewhere they don't approve if they go to do their roundabout. So we don't want to touch on that. It's a lot more difficult.
Absolutely.
But again, with the roundabout going there, it's going to help with the traffic and all the accidents that you guys are seeing, and that's coming. 2028, it'll be there. So you'll see a big, pretty roundabout, and then our beautiful facility right next to it, which is what's right down the street anyway at Harbin's.
How many units are we talking about?
We're looking at about 40,000 square feet, and the unit mix could be anywhere from 200 to 300 units.
That's a lot of units.
But our other intention is to do office warehouse buildings that face along
So
Highway 81.
you're looking at businesses being there also?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay.
All right. I do have several questions for you. First of all, what are the hours that the self-storage facility would be in use?
Basically, it'll be a 9 to 5 setup. If we decide to go unmanned, which some of the units are starting to become that way, where they're basically people have key swabs and it's more, up to date where you can get in without a key. If they do that, it'll be, open 24 hours for them, but that's undecided. Again, we're waiting to see what some of these other facilities are going to do before we actually decide on how many units, what the unit mix is going to be, and how we open it up.
Okay. Do you have any idea of what type of security you plan to have there?
Well, there's not going to be any outside storage, so we're not going to have any need for an outside fence. To me, that's unattractive as you can get. So just be cameras and just, monitored that way. But as far as access with gates and opening and all that, we're not going to do that. Because there will be other businesses in there, so we're not going to have, access for people to get in and out. It's just going to be buildings.
Okay.
Let me ask you this question. Is this being built strictly more for businesses than storage?
It'd be a mixed use, both.
How much business?
Probably 30 to 40%.
Okay, and Tim's getting to my next question. So, obviously, with this zoning and the indication in the application for office warehouse, which with the warehouse portion would put this in the same dynamics as far as the zoning with the self-storage facility. That being said, that would disallow any retail, period. You okay with that? No retail sales?
Yeah, we weren't intending to put gas stations and things like that.
No, I'm talking no retail sales, no storefront retail sales, office warehouse.
Basically office warehouse.
Heating and air companies, electrical contractors.
Well, yes, sir. That's the demand that I'm hearing. That's what.
Right, okay, all right. Mr. Caruth, have you had an opportunity to have a public meeting with the people in the area just to informally, to allow them to ask you questions of your plans and such as that?
No, not yet.
Okay. And I'm going to share part of my thoughts with you, and Keith and I are sitting here talking about this, and I can see both sides of the equation, but I will be agreeable to whomever spoke. Bentley Road's a very narrow road. Speed limit's 25. The radius turnoff of 81, I spoke to the guy with State DOT. He concurs with what you said. The plan for that is 2028. Any traffic, when I pull off of Bentley onto 81, Mr. Caruth, your guys are hauling trailers out of there with trees on them. If you turn, even with me not pulling the trailer, if I turn too sharp going towards Bethlehem, my right tire drops off in a hole. The radiuses are very tight on that road, so I don't see where Bentley Road could possibly service this type of environment, especially with office warehouse. I don't see that there's any way at all that Bentley Road can possibly service this type of facility with the number of units that are potentially there and the office warehouse. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to first ask you, Mr. Caruth, to set a date between now and our next meeting, which will be on April the 2nd, to set aside, do you have any type of neutral social media site or something, or could you get with one of the people here that's tonight in opposition, just one of those maybe? And this is, I'm telling you, this is for this guy to try to set a time to meet with you guys and talk about this. So whoever he talks to, you'll have ample time to speak with him later. But if he could use you as a point of contact and someone's willing to do that, then I would certainly appreciate that. But if you could get with someone, is there someone here that would be willing to work as a point of contact?
I can.
Okay, Ms. Bentley. So if you could just get with Ms. Bentley, let her act as a point of contact. But I want you to have a chance to talk with these people and see if some of the concerns, there may not be any way you can address them totally, but I'm just saying that you could hear what they've got to say. I would like for there to be, I wish there'd been some conversation before you got here tonight, but obviously we're past that. But if you could do that. And then I'd also encourage you to get with the state DOT and determine what's going to be involved if this entry is mandated to be on the state highway. I will let you know tonight that this is in my district, and my feelings right now on this is that I see no way that this can be serviceable on Bentley Road.
We're not opposed to doing the Highway 81 entrance.
Okay.
That's the only reason we didn't propose it that way is because of the roundabout. We don't interfere with what their plans are, what they're going to do.
The roundabout in your entry, the property down the street from you that we zoned as a commercial zoning a couple years back for the solar class. They do solar classes there, teach about HVAC solar systems, there's ample room in that direction. And obviously with the flow of traffic on 81, part of the problem, and I told somebody the other day, I mean, when I hear one of the emergency vehicles pass my house heading in your direction, my first thought's Bentley Road, my second thought's Ozora, because both of those, now that we got the roundabout up at 81 in Bowl Springs, it certainly has cured a lot of the issues up there. My wife actually had a very serious accident there before that happened. So I think that would be beneficial. I also, and I will get back with the guy that I spoke with State DOT, I don't see any way that it would be possible to have that entry there without having a decel lane coming from the Loganville direction and a turn lane coming from the Winder direction. Because without that, you're going to end up with stifling, the same thing we get at the intersection at 81, where people start backing up, which creates accidents because somebody says, you turn, no, you go, and then you have an accident. So, you know, and I'm not saying that center turn lane is mandatory, but I think the decel lane is certainly something that would seriously have to be. But there's very few times that you'll find state DOT that's not going to encourage some type of decel lane. So anyway, if you guys could get together, Ms. Bentley, if you don't mind sharing your contact information, and then you can get with the other people, everyone else here, please let Ms. Bentley know how she can get in touch with you. But I'm going to make a motion that we table this until April 2nd. And at that time, Mr. Gruth, I hope that you'll have an opportunity to talk with these folks. And at that time, we'll move forward with a motion on this property, okay? Thank you.
I second it.
I've made a motion. Do I have a second? John got a second. Is there any further discussion from the members? No further discussion? This time, all in favor say aye and raise your right hand. Aye. So this will be tabled to next month.
Got a question here.
Cases were moved, Commissioners, April 11th. I'm sorry. Our meeting is April 11th. Ms. Tracy has this in black and white for me. I just read the wrong line. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All right. The second case on our agenda this evening, CU 240-10022, conditional use for a place of worship. The applicant is Princess Aries. The owner is Carla Aries. Property is located at 4965 Donald Drive. Is the applicant for this application here? If you would please step up to the podium, ma'am, state your name, and tell us what your plans are for this property.
Everybody that was here for that last one to exit so that they don't interfere her discussion.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you you can go ahead. I'm going to just get you to hold off just a second, let these folks exit, and that way we'll be able to hear you well. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you so very much. Yes, ma'am. You have a blessed evening.
If we have problems with Walton County Commissioners, the DOT, I think needs to be.
Good luck. That's a state DOT. Good luck there. You jump all over that. Yeah, you jump on that. All right, thank you, ma'am. You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. If you please would state your name, tell us what your plans are for this property.
Hi, God bless you. My name is Princess Arias, and I stand before you today to humbly request your consideration and support for the construction of our house of prayer in our community. It's important for me to highlight that I feel incredibly blessed with this opportunity to be before all of you, and I feel very grateful, and I give God the glory for this opportunity. 11 years ago, what today is my home and home to many other families began in a simple living room. We started very small. I was very young at that time. We started in a living room with a vision. We were very grateful with God for the restoration of our family and the miracles He had done in our family. So we started with a vision, we acted upon it, we started spreading God's love, giving back to the community, and then when we least expected it, our living room got full. Then we went to the neighborhood clubhouse. At the time, we were located in Lawrenceville. We rented the clubhouse. We would gather every Sunday. The congregation began to grow. And then we have been to renting different churches, and right now we're currently in Lilburn, Georgia, renting a plaza where we hold our service on Sundays. And during the week, we gather on Fridays. We have different counseling for youth, for marriages, for families, and that's what we do as a family. Our church is called FCG Church. It's mainly a Hispanic, but we do bilingual services. And it stands for Familias Cristianas de Georgia. It's Christian family. And last year, we were blessed with this opportunity. We took it as a miracle to purchase this land after 11 years. going back and forth from different places, renting different places. We were given this opportunity to purchase this land, beautiful land with a lot of trees, a lot of space, and we immediately started visioning. Our intention and purpose has always been to serve the community, to help them. We've seen how many families have come to our church who have come out of poverty, who have come out of maybe almost divorcing, separating. Today, this generation, the youth, they've been able to find a home in our congregation, in our church. And when we purchased this land, we immediately started visioning. We do retreats. We have a cabin in Cleveland, Georgia, where we do retreats. And it's very special. It's full of trees. It's small. We always do small gatherings. And this is what we're visioning for this property and what we are requesting to build. We're trying to build, we're attempting to build an extension to what is already there. There's 2 structures currently there. We're planning to do a rooftop and extend it a 7,000 square feet more. So with the purpose of doing our worship sessions there, to doing our gatherings, rooms for counseling, which is totally volunteered from different people, from our church leaders that have been prepared to do so. And that is our vision, our intention. We are aware of certain things that might disturb the neighborhood. For instance, the sound. For this reason, we are very aware, and we are going to take action in implementing insulation, soundproof insulation, and also acoustic panels for the church, for the worship sessions we have during our Sunday services, which is mostly the day we get together. During the week, we usually have Bible studies in homes, and then on Sundays, we gather together in our church, where we have Sunday school for the children, youth reunions for the youth. Our church is a very large group of the church, our youth that are serving, that we do outreach during the week. We go out to Atlanta. We have joined with Seven Bridges, which is an organization in Atlanta, to go and feed the homeless during the weekend. Different activities that we do like that. And currently with this land, we do know we have homes around. And we're not building something for commercial use in this case. It's mostly to bring the city together, community together, so they can find a place to retreat for Sunday, for weekend. Normally Sundays is where families get together. They want to come and worship God, give thanks for the week, come and share. We are characterized for being a family. In my case, I don't have family here in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, so the church has become my family. And there's many people like that who have been part of this congregation, that we have all become a family. We serve. There is the youth are serving in sound, worship. The kids are serving, doing little dramas. They're going out to preach as well, doing different community outreach. And that is the purpose of this plan, of why we're here. We would like to please ask for your support. We know that a church is not a structure, right? It's not 4 walls. It's the people. In this case, with this opportunity to build a home for all of us, we're in all. Our intentions are to do it for thinking about the families that are right now under our responsibility. We feel like it's our responsibility to give them a place where they can feel more comfortable, where they can have a room for the kids, where they can have a space to talk, to gather, for them to have appropriate rooms for their counseling, to receive counseling. And I ask for support once again to make this vision a reality, and thank you for your time and consideration. I'm open to any recommendations, and if you have any questions as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any questions from any of the board members? Thank you. Is there anyone here in opposition to this? All right, so you guys heard my spiel earlier. So as many people who can be represented by the few, that would be gracious. But ma'am, I'm going to start with you right here on the front. And again, if y'all will hang with us, we want to stay as close to 10 minutes as we possibly can. And when you come up, if you would please give us your name and your address. It's always helpful too if you kind of shed light on proximity. Okay. All righty. Please state your name and your address for us, please.
Ernest Block, 5030 Donald Drive.
All right.
My daughter, I can't see to read this, so she's going to read it for me.
You need a
I'm Regina Block Baldwin. I grew up at 5030. I'm just right down the road. My brother lives next door at 1590.
59.
So we've got a letter that we drafted. It will be short because I know there's a lot of people. I want to say this. This is a residential estate neighborhood road. There is no left lane, right lane. There's no lane dividing who drives left, who drives right. This is all residential. 1 mile, no one way in, one way out. Cul-de-sac.
There was no cul-de-sac, it's a dead-end road.
Well, the cul-de-sac's turned to dead end.
Yeah, but it's not a cul-de-sac, it's a dead end. Okay, the street is 1 mile long, dead end. I live halfway at 5030. I have the only fire hydrant on the street. Sunday, I got a picture, Sunday, 2 doors down from me, at 12:09, fire truck and ambulance came on the street and laid down. Road was shut down. There's pictures where people are going in another yard to try to get around. So it's not a place for a church. They're covering things up because we have the letter where they put everybody's mailbox. They want to turn it into a youth camp. They're saying a place of worship that's going to be a youth camp. Gwinnett County, there's a stop work order. The property is half wall. Gwinnett told me they couldn't do it. So they put in a pool, deck. So I had it shut down. They got a stop work order on the house right now. So now they're trying to go through Walton County. So if it passes, everybody uses Gwinnett without saying it. So they're not telling the whole story of what's going to really happen at the site. And a couple of years ago, the county was told they could not do this on a dead-end street, have any kind of large congregations.
Due to emergencies and the one fire hydrant. I think the problem with us and the residents on the road is it's a residential street. The police have already been called for noise ordinance already at the house. You can hear it everywhere. They want a 30-yard dumpster on the property at all times. They say they only get together on Sundays. The only need for a 30-yard dumpster all day, every day is plan to have this commercial property, place of worship, youth camp, whatever they call it, on a residential street.
Right, and they want to put in between two barns in Walton County. They've just poured 100 yards of concrete, again, without permit. They're doing everything under the rug. Now they're trying to get that passed so they get started. But it's something that don't belong on a dead-end road. If there's an emergency or something, we'll shut down.
All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
No.
There was somebody, sir, I thought you had your hand. I'll get you next, sir.
All right, good evening. My name is Christopher Diaz, and I live at 4945 Donald Drive. My family moved to this property almost a year now, in May 2023. After serving 20 years in the United States Army and 13 years working with high school and middle school students in the Gwinnett County Public School System, we were hoping that our new property would be a quiet agricultural retirement home. And one day in September and in July, it was not so. While serving, and I just want to bring out this point and I'll explain why at the end. While serving in the military in 2002, I received Jesus Christ as my Savior. This is not about religion. It is not. In my opinion, it's about zoning and following the current rules that are in place. That's just my opinion. My main argument is a complaint, and yes, Christopher Diaz from 4945 I put the complaint in. And I know there's many veterans that live on this road. I talked to a few of them. And I don't know about the other veterans, but when I hear that loud music, it sets something off in my head. And I'm sorry about that, but that's just the reality for many veterans. And I'm sure there's veterans here that can relate to that. But a complaint was already submitted for the excessive noise, again, by me, during their week-long camp with Gwinnett County Planning and Development. I did not know they were trying to build a church or a place of worship in a residential agricultural area. I live a few houses down, again, from the property, which is 4969, and on that side, that's the Gwinnett County side. That's why Gwinnett County came, and just for the record, I used to work in code enforcement in Gwinnett County for 1 year, so I know a little bit. So I called some people, can they do this? Before I said anything, I said, can they do this? They said, no, you cannot. But I'll just park that right there. But now it seems like they're going, like they said earlier, the 4965 property, and it's loud. That's one of the problems, but there was a lot of people there, and I thought this was my retirement home. That's a reality. This music was so loud, and if you want to see it, I have video here to prove it, right off of their website. It shows the big speakers in there, it shows the blaring music in there, and it was just too much. So I'm sure, again, there's many veterans there that can relate, and some probably with PTSD too. Why should we even consider rezoning either one of these two properties? It seems kind of selfish, in my opinion, because they're talking about reaching within the community. To my knowledge, they never knocked on my door or anybody else's saying that we're going to come out and we're going to reach to you. That didn't happen. But it seems like to me a commercial type property, because when I go to church, I get in my car and I go to church, a different location. It's not in a residential area. So the property owners are trying to justify the building of their property into a house of worship. However, I would like to address the following concerns from our quiet agricultural neighborhood. This area right here, it should be, because they're trying to answer this with, in their standard review questions, whatever that paper that I received from my Gwinnett County side, they sent me that, along with their letter of intent and their conditional use for a place of worship. These are the two main concerns. During July 4th weekend, there was an event happening at the property with many people and vehicles, and there was a lot of people there on this, again, small road. And then the other thing is here, it seems that, to my understanding, and I could be wrong, my understanding that the property owners are church leaders at FCG Church, and I think she stated that earlier, that was located at 55 Pleasant Hill Road in Lilburn. That's nowhere near the Gwinnett side of where we live at in Loganville, or even the Walton County side. So here's my closing statement. What would I like? Well, if I had my king for a day, I would deeply appreciate it if this church would consider building in another location that is more suitable for them and us. And in closing, I just want to say this right here. Let every person be subject to their governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. And those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whosoever resists the authority, and it seems like that's what they're doing here, resist authority, resist what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. We don't want to get judgment on our road. We want to just leave peacefully on our road. And yes, I am Hispanic, and yes, I do understand the music, I understand the language, and I'm telling you, I know as a Hispanic person, yes, we like to party, and it's loud. Okay, but in my peaceful agricultural residential area, I don't think we should have that. And if there's any questions, I will take them now, sir.
Is there any questions for this gentleman? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Let me get somebody that hadn't been up here, okay? Please, sir, if you want to tell somebody behind you right there, you can tell that gentleman, because I'm about to call him to come up. Please step up to the podium and give us your name and address, please, sir.
Hello, my name is Charles Mobley. I live at 869 Spring Oak Court. That's the neighborhood in the cul-de-sac directly behind these barns. I believe our home is probably the closest in proximity to these barns. The barn is 80 feet from my property line and 270 feet from my house. During last summer's events, we could hear the music throughout our entire cul-de-sac, not just my house. We could hear it clearly inside my house could hear the baptisms taking place over the PA system. We could hear the live bands. We're retired. We moved this home 6 years ago. This is our retirement home. It's a peaceful, tranquil community. Donald Drive is the same way. These are just very calm, peaceful residential areas. We do not want this level of noise, this level of traffic in our neighborhoods. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I believe there's someone on the second row right here, am I correct? Anybody on the second row? No. Who else here is in opposition that hasn't spoken? Well, you're on the second row, ma'am. You gonna make your husband come up? Here, you're gonna have to use a stick or something. He ain't wanting to move.
You just got voluntold, sir.
Yeah, voluntold. Come up and state your name, sir, and tell us where you live.
I'm David Drummond at 5105 Donald Drive. One of the things I noticed when they first started talking about what their plan was is they said they started envisioning what to do, but already started building without permits, without seeking approval. They eventually were met with a stop work order from Gwinnett County, and the small gatherings that they were talking about, their first one was 300 people with marching snares, air horns, and litter scattered to the surrounding properties afterwards. So that's kind of our take, was our first taste of what they were going to bring to the community was just nothing but noise. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so I've got two things. Is there someone else here in opposition?
Well, I think that's all he was going to say. We got the petition signed.
Yeah, I got it.
We got it.
Anybody else? Okay, all right, thank you now. Okay, sir, if you could come and two things. One, we got the noise. Two, we got it's a residential road. Do you have anything outside that?
Yeah,
Now, you come up to the mic and state your name, but please share something with us we hadn't heard. We have ran out of time.
Briefly.
Briefly.
Real quick, there's one. My house.
Give us your name and address, please.
Terry Cawthorn. My address is 4979 Donald Drive. And my house butts up to the property that where this is being submitted to y'all. And I also have an elderly lady that lives behind me. Her property butts into it. She can't be here either. But, you know, it's not just the noise, it's the traffic, it's, you know, just the chaos of everything. And then, you know, like, it wasn't like it was a one-night deal where they come and had their little party and then left. It was a whole weekend. I mean, a 3-day weekend event that we're talking about. And, you know, like he said, they know how to party. And, you know, I'm a Christian myself. I'm all for worship. But, you know, they're pretty much saying what's been said. But everybody on the street is in opposition to it. And I just feel that if you're going to have something like that, you need to look to buy something that is zoned for that purpose instead of going to a residential, buying a house, and then wanting to turn it into a place of worship.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. At this time, I am going to close any further comments in opposition on this case. Is anyone here to speak on behalf of the applicant other than the applicant themselves? Sir, if you would step up, state your name, tell us what your thoughts are.
Good afternoon. God bless you. My name is Jose Olaya. I'm one of the youth leaders at the church and also the sound guy, so I'm sorry to everybody. I know that weekend that you guys are referring to, that was our annual youth camp. That day we put together around 60 youth that, you know, they have gave their life to God. And as a youth myself, well, I was a youth at one point, right now I'm 27 years old. But when I came to this country, I was 19 years old. I was a med student in Venezuela. And like Mr. Diaz said, I knew how to party in the bad way, you know. I was drinking, smoking, doing several stuff. And when I came to this country, I met God. I received God in my heart.
Amen.
I changed everything, you know, all the stuff that I was doing. And we can see as leaders, my pastors, what youth are doing nowadays. And our whole intention is to change that, to have a generation that is going to be able to build this country and not destroy it. And we can see how things are going on right now. It's not the best way, right? It's really sad what's going on with many of the youth, how what drugs are doing to them, alcohol is impacting to our society. And we just want to, you know, put Jesus in their heart and try to change that. Before we bought this property, we purchased it when we started communication with Mr. Pedro Romero, who is actually here. He was your neighbor for, I'm not sure how many years, but we asked around the zoning, we came to the county, we knew that the zoning was a A2, which it is allowed for us to build something like what we are trying to do. We know we have to go through all these procedures. And in July 4th, it was a celebration because I think something like this is not only our pastors, it's not only one person purchase, it's a whole community coming together to be able to do this for us. So, you know, everybody was happy. Everybody expressed what they were feeling. And I know, right now, we know that it was not the best way for you guys. We have been putting together a team of people with GCs, sound engineering, to make sure that won't happen again, to make sure we have the proper installation. I'm a contractor myself, so, you know, and I'm also a sound guy, so it's something that we are trying to make sure it's not gonna happen again, to be able to fully soundproof the whole building to the point that when we host a worship, when we host of meetings, you guys won't have to deal with this. Like Princess says, we also have a property in North Georgia, in Cleveland, Georgia. And we usually host our camp over there, our youth camp. We do have a youth camp that is Friday night, Saturday the whole day, and Sunday until 10 a.m. And then from there, we all go to the church. So it was not a whole weekend of a whole week of camp. It was a weekend, 2 days, 2 nights, 1.5 days. And we usually host it over there. This year, I guess, we planned it wrongfully. We did not expect it to be this loud. And that's when we realized we had to put in practice, or start planning ahead for this not to be an issue down on the road. Like I said, I really apologize for all the noise and all the partying. Well, it was not partying, but it was partying on Jesus, so we can call it different ways. But I really apologize for that, and I can promise you guys that we're gonna do everything that we can, and we're gonna implement all the technology, everything that is on our hand and is available for us to not let this happen. About the traffic, we know it's 2 road channels, and we have also been planning about that, how it's gonna happen. You know, like I said, we have GCs, we have different contractors, we have sound engineering, that we have been talking and trying to deal with this. We have help with other pastors and ministries in-state and out-state that they are trying to help us how to plan this so it can be the best thing not only for us as a church, but for everybody as a community, because that's what we want. We are a family, we are a community, we are part of a city. We know we are right now located in Lilburn. Before we were located on Lawrenceville. Before that we were located, right after that, before Lilburn, we were in Duluth. So it's not like, oh, we're only in Lawrenceville. We have people in Norcross, we have people in Riverdale, South Georgia, close to the airport. We have people in North Georgia. So us choosing Loganville, well, first it was not a choice. Let me tell you this as a little story, and I know probably a short time. My pastor they were not looking on Loganville, all right? We actually went through something as a family, and they were actually trying to do some remodeling on their house. And Mr. Pedro, they helped them to choose their flooring. They didn't know them. And he said, hey, I have some material left over in my house, come over. And when they walk in, he said, hey, I'm selling this property, and, it was from God. So we took it as a blessing, we took it as a miracle, and that's how we got to Loganville. It's not like, oh, we were looking for this place, we were trying to choose this place, we weren't trying to alter or bother our community. It was something that God sent to us, and he put everything in place for us. So like I said, I'm really sorry for all the disturbance, all the noise complaint, and in the name of Jesus, and we're gonna do our best for not let that happening. And if you guys give us a chance to give back to this community, to give back to you guys, to your future generations, to the actual people that is living there, we're gonna do our best. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you, the applicant, if you would come back with any rebuttal you may have in concerns or concerning any of the opposition, the things that have been stated.
Thank you. Like Jose Laya said, we apologize for that day. Again, it was July 4th, and it was, I believe, September, a youth camp. July 4th, we presented the land to the leaders and to their children, and they were just very excited, a part of it being July 4th. So they were just very excited. The kids were playing around. It is a large land, and like they did mention, we also have the Gwinnett area where there's a home. So it's in total, Gwinnett and Walton, there are 13 acres of land. It's a large land to the point where their cars, they all fit with extra space. That was July 4th. And then on September, we also had the youth camp that we do. There was about 60 youth and then about 40, 50 leaders who were leading our worship. The situation with the sound, what had happened is that we don't have a physical structure. We have, like with a roof, we have two structures, so we kind of put speakers inside that storage, and we did not notice or know until the police came that you can hear the sound all the way to the other neighborhood, because the structures, they're metal, and it would like echo all the way to the back neighborhood, and also the neighborhoods around. And that was that night. And when they told us the next day, we did acoustic. Remember, we did acoustic. We didn't connect the electric guitar or any of that. We did acoustic to not cause disturbance for Saturday night, because that was Friday night. And then we did a fire. We did fire pit. We all sat around the fire pit, and we did an acoustic service with the youth. That was the situation on Friday of the youth camp, which we do apologize. That's the reason why we haven't done anything else over there since then, because of that. And we've also been working with all the permits, and I know they did mention in Gwinnett County, we put a pool, and with that pool, where with a group of people who got baptized in that pool, we did a deck that we honestly did not know that we had to have a permit for a deck in the back if it wasn't seen. Someone had told us that. But then we got the order, and we've been working on that. We already went to the county. We were working on that to get the permit for the deck that was done with the pool in the back of the home. That is Gwinnett. And Walton is where we're trying to build the church, where we're gonna have rooms, like I said, insulated walls for the sound. And then the traffic, again, the land is very big. We're gonna have two entrances for in and out. We're not expecting as many cars because it's large enough to have the cars inside of the land. We're also going to do a parking space, and so our intention is to have the families there so they could come on Sundays. Again, during the week, we do not have any activities with big group. The only day that we do have is on Sunday. And as they said, we did have that weekend of youth. If that is a problem, we have no problem with doing it in Cleveland. We were just very excited for the space, and we did it there that weekend. But in the future, we have no problem with doing it where we usually have it. That will not happen again.
Can I interject a question? Where are these families coming from?
Yes, so we have some in Lawrenceville, we have some in Loganville. Lawrenceville downtown.
What about in the community itself right there?
So we don't have anyone from the
Okay.
community itself.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
All right. Any additional questions for the applicant? No, sir.
No.
I can't take any more right now, please. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any discussion among the members before I take a motion?
I will make the comment that she mentions the parking on site for cars at the church, but it doesn't cure the issue of traffic on Donald Drive in emergency situations. If we've already had a party there, a celebration or a whatever event you want to call it, and I think I speak for the whole panel, nobody's opposed to worshiping Christ, nobody's opposed to having your congregation. However, there's a place that is fitting and there's a place that's not fitting, and a residential neighborhood doesn't seem the place for that much traffic, even if it is just on a Sunday. Donald Drive cannot accommodate that type of traffic. It doesn't seem to me.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments? Okay, this time I'll take a motion.
I will motion that we does not deny rezone CU 240-10022.
Okay, I have a motion for denial. Do I have a second?
I will second.
All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. This will go to the Board of Commissioners on April 2nd. The 11th, I thought you said the 11th was our meeting.
Second is commissioners meeting.
You corrected me a while ago. Well, I had it right to start with. Okay.
So when is our meeting next?
Ours is the 2nd. Okay, so that's what, so it will go to the Board of Commissioners on April 2nd. All right, very good.
Them hit even
I mean,
us sometimes.
I just used the alternate date from what I had a while ago. That's pretty simple. I had a 50-50 shot.
We got it.
Oh, I had it right.
Is that yours?
Oh, yes, ma'am. What I said was right.
Hey, did we take a vote yet?
We did.
All right,
We did.
we did?
We did.
We did. We're going to give these folks just a moment to clear out.
It goes with that petition.
File 13.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on with our last application for the evening. This is application CU 2401-0025, a conditional use for outside storage and a variance to reduce the transitional buffer from 50 to 10 feet. Applicant is Mullins and Kellis LLC, and the property is located at L&P Parkway. Is the applicant for this here? Yes, sir. Please step up to the podium and give us your name and tell us what your plans are for the property.
Yes, sir. My name is Wayne Kellis, and first of all, thank you for hearing me. I know everybody's tired. I am a partner in a landscape company that my son-in-law runs, and we've been looking for a place for him to run his business out of, and it's not available. We look to buy, we look to rent, can't do it. So I'm also a partner in a real estate company. Sounds bigger than it is. We have 3 commercial buildings. It's Mullins and Kellis LLC. I found this property, bought it from a guy named Michael Smith down there. I don't know if you know where L&P Parkway is. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, we bought that property. It says here on the agenda that it's still owned by, anyway, we've had closing, so the property is ours. It's large enough to do what we want. We want to run a service business out of there. And we just want to have flex space, some office, warehouse, and some gravel in the back and some fencing. For the reason we need outside storage is we will have trucks and some work trailers, occasionally a piece of equipment, and, you know, we just need a place to keep it secure under fence in the back. So we're requesting the conditional use for outside storage, and we are requesting for a variance to the buffer in the back from 50 feet down to 10 because anyway, there's supposed to be a buffer in the back because it backs up to a residential lot.
Correct.
And that residential lot is on Highway 11. And the one it actually backs up to is like a little sliver. But anyway, we're hoping it's not that big of a lot and we could use all the space we can get. And we would like to reduce that buffer to 10 feet in the back.
Okay. So I've got one question or a few questions for you. The existing building that fronts Highway 11, what is that structure there?
That's that BP.
That's right. All right. So then if you go right behind it, there's a piece of property, it looks like it was an easement.
That's the railroad track.
That's the railroad tracks, okay? And then the adjoining property where you're talking about the little sliver, the residential right there is the only residential base period, because the front, obviously you got frontage on the streets. So 3 sides we're concerned with, and your reduction of the buffer is for the entirety of the property, or are you only concerned with that back residential piece? That's my question.
My understanding was that buffer only was required on the residential side.
It only applies to the back.
That's right.
So that's the only one that we're asking about. It's just that bottom right there. If we could come closer to the line than 50 feet, that's giving up a lot when you have, you know,
I got you.
1-ton truck crew cab pulling a 20-foot trailer. It gets tight.
I understand. Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Is anyone here in opposition? Sir, if you would step to the podium, state your name, tell us what your concerns are.
Didn't hear a lot of that because I'm half deaf. My name's Peter Dean. I live on Mount Vernon Road, but I own Propco Propellers, and I own that piece of land opposite Mount Leggett and Platt. I've been here in America from Australia 42 years now.
And where do you live, sir? In proximity to this property, where do you live?
Sorry.
He lives on Mount Vernon Road.
Sorry, I turned it
Out
off.
near Walton MC.
But he owns.
He owns the property across Leggett and
Yeah,
Platt
cross Leggett
Parkway.
and Platt.
All right.
I'm just curious, firstly, are they going to park tractors and trailers there on this property as like rest areas, or is it they going to build buildings and storage stuff or whatever?
Our understanding is that they have a landscape business, and they're going to park the trucks that they utilize in their landscape business there on the property. It would be for their business only, not for storage for anyone else.
Okay, well, I have no further question.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to thank you. When I moved to Walton County in '82, there was 15,000 people in the county, and you mentioned today it was up 60 or 70 or something.
That was
Yeah, more.
I'd like to make another comment, if I may. It's good to see that we have quality people making decisions to protect the people in Walton County. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'd like to make a comment to you. Good day, mate.
Good day, Mike.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
So what month in '82 did you come?
What month in '82 did you come here, Peter?
He said, what month did you come? What month did you come here in 1982?
I raised Ocean Road on 9-time world champion. I'm in Port Ocean here in Book of Records. And 4 years ago, they awarded me a world legend certificate. And David Caruth, when I met him, I met him took the vote, and it ran 66 miles down, they ran 3 races, got 2 seconds in the first, qualified for the Worlds. They brought the vote to me, I read the vote, properly made the proper ballot, the vote went to the Worlds at 88 miles an hour. Wow. Won the Worlds. And I said, they win the race by voting, they didn't, and when they left the field, so they sued the vote, it had to be illegal.
Okay.
So they pulled the vote up, there was nothing wrong in the vote, and it passed 5,000 votes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
No, you're good. Thank you. All right, I'm going to ask the applicant to come back up.
Yeah.
Is anybody here, anybody else to speak on behalf of the applicant? If not, if you would step back up, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
I almost lost my train of thought there. Somehow I felt like we got, I go home, I'll tell myself.
Good day, mate.
Yeah, I'll go home and tell myself, don't do that again.
I've known Peter since 1982.
He's a great man. He's a great man. So we very much appreciate his thoughts and his comments there. On that back property line where it adjoins the residential, can you tell me what type foliage is there now?
There's not any pine trees, grass, weeds. It's just various hardwoods from about 1-inch stems at breast height to 6. It's not mature woodlands.
So 15 feet?
So it's just brush?
Yeah,
15, 20 feet?
yeah, 20 feet probably tops.
Okay. All righty. Any other questions from any of the board members?
But you do intend to build office warehouse space there for your landscape business, correct?
I do, yes, sir.
At 5,000 square feet roughly?
5,000 square feet.
Thank you.
I'm very familiar with the property. The two properties to the
Yep.
south are for
Yeah.
sale, potential commercial.
They are.
And the
commercial,
owner
yeah.
of the residential property adjoining this is the owner of the gas station.
That's correct.
It'll be commercial
Right.
sooner than later.
Yes.
It is commercial area anyway.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Any comments from any of the members? So, I mean, I definitely have no quarrel with your use. I'm going to offer up a couple of options just as one condition on the property. A reduction to 20 feet at the rear if you leave it just like it is right now and do not touch a thing. I'm going to give you an option. Or I'll take it to 15, and the planning department, when you make your application for a development permit or a building permit, at that time, you will be given guidance as to evergreens that will be planted within the 15-foot buffer. You're a landscaper.
Yeah.
I'm going to put both of them in as a condition. You can do what you want to, but those are going to be your two choices. How about that? All right.
I'll leave it at 50. Which one?
Yeah, or we'll leave it at 50. That one's on. No, okay.
He said he agreed.
Well, Tim prompted me, yeah. All right. With that, I would like to make a motion for approval for C1370032A00 with the condition of one of two options regarding the adjournment to the residential lot at the rear, 20 feet, reduction to 20 feet if it's completely undisturbed as it is right now, or it may be lessened to 15 with the condition that the county planning department would direct into as to what type evergreen plantings they would want within that buffer. And with that, so my motion.
He has a question.
Well, let me get through with this,
Okay.
and I'll get you, okay? So my motion, I've made my motion with the condition. I'll take a second.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand, say aye. Aye.
Just quickly, just a point of reference, the septic system has to be in the back corner for us.
Yep.
If we run a septic system in there without destroying the trees, is that disturbed or undisturbed? Is that fit?
It has to be 100% undisturbed at 20 feet or 15 feet with evergreen plantings. Yes. All right, thank you. Do we have any public comment? Sir, would you tell me your name, please?
My name's Terry Eason, sir.
Terry what? Eason. Terry is here tonight as an observer. He may never be here again. But he has agreed to take Pete's place. I understand that he will begin that in May. So, Terry, we really appreciate having you here, and we have our county administrator with us tonight, watching over us, and we certainly appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to be here with us as well.
Thank you.
So, no public comment? At this time, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I have a so move and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, guys.